Hello and welcome to the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Darshan.
Hi Darshan, I'm Agam Akil and here are the top headlines of this hour. Markets remain cautious as tensions continue to develop on the LOC. Fresh shorts build up in, several counters at this point in time, considering so many, sell-offs. And the Pakistani army claims Indian aircraft entered into Pakistan, dropped payload and flew back into India as official confirmation from Indian government is still awaited. The RBI floats a discussion paper on moving a large part of the bank CEO's salary to variable pay adjusted with any divergence found in lender's account. But before we take a look at the markets, let's also address the latest developments here. Now, Pakistani army spokesperson has claimed that Indian fighter jets enter the Pakistani airspace before retreating. The spokesperson took to Twitter claiming that the Pakistani Air Force scrambled, forcing the jets to fly back into Indian airspace near Balakot. Indian authorities are yet to officially confirm any such move, but ANI has reported, quoting sources, that 12 Mirage jets flew into the area and dropped 1,000 kg payload before flying back. We have Sanjay Pugalia, the editorial director at Quintillion Media, who joins us now on the phone line for more. Sanjay sir, thanks for joining us. What are the updates here and what sort of confirmations do we have so far on ground?
So after Pakistani authorities only revealed that there was an attack, we have learned from sources only that Indian Air Force sent around 12 Mirage fighters and they dropped 1,000 kg bomb on terror camps and they were completely destroyed. We have not heard anything officially from the government so far, and it is expected that at some point in time during the day, they will make some announcement. Now, there is a little twist in the story that Omar Abdullah has put. He is asking, the attack has happened in Balakot area. So is it Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KPK area, which is in Pakistan, or it is Punch sector Balakot? If it is Punch sector Balakot, then it's definitely they have crossed LOC, but this is non-functional area in this weather. But if it is Balakot KPK, then it is a serious attack because it is in Pakistan, not in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So that makes it very serious. So now we have to wait for further details on the area of attack. This also shows very clearly that Government of India has a plan and they will be moving step by step towards that direction. Now, Government of India definitely will wait for Pakistan's response. And as of now, Pakistan clearly is kind of grappling with the evolving situation.
Sanjay, the comment that came in on Bloomberg of the Indian Defence Ministry spokesman says that they have no information on the airstrike. Any clue whether the government or the Air Force is holding any kind of statement or press conference later in the day?
I would expect them to officially say something. As of now, government has said that they do not have the information. This has to be seen in the backdrop of Prime Minister's statement that we have given our forces a free hand. So government logically will wait for forces to speak first, IAF to speak first, and then only government will comment on that. That's what I expect to happen.
How does this attack have an impact on the forthcoming elections? Any kind of indications that you're picking up from some of the parties, some of in the government, in the opposition? And what's your general sense? How will this attack be taken in the view of 2019 elections?
The situation is too fluid and unfolding, so we do not know what will be the impact. But yeah, definitely there will be an impact of the election whenever a country is in a war mode and in a kind of nationalistic fervor, then you know how public conversations take place. But Indian voters take a holistic view when they vote. We do not even know the election schedule. This has happened before the notification. So now this today's development is pregnant with lots of possibilities and fallouts. Will it get escalated or will Pakistan come under pressure? And now diplomacy will come into the play and some kind of verifiable action will happen within Pakistan. Pakistan's jingoish tone could be that we should retaliate. then we will have more military actions. So India is prepared for all kinds of scenarios. On political fallout, of course, the talk on the street is after Pulwama, this is a bit of a helpful situation for BJP. But I think these are the typical conversations that happen around such situations. We will have to wait for that.
Okay, Sanjay, thanks so much for joining in and briefing us on the latest as far as the Indo-Pak tensions are concerned. So that's the view that's coming in. The markets also at this point of time not in the best of shape. The Nifty is down over 150 points as I see right now. So there is heavy selling that's seen, and it has escalated in the last few minutes of trade because when we were speaking, it was down 100 points. So there seems to be more selling pressure that's coming in. 10,735 is on the Nifty. Let's take a look at where the Bank Nifty is taking position. The Bank Nifty is down almost 400 points. So heavy selling is being seen across the market. You can clearly see that the call writers will have become much more aggressive in trade. So as I speak, as I see right now, there are just 5 F&O stocks which have managed to gain, but all of the others are down anywhere. The highest being Crompton Greaves, which is down almost 10% in trade. But put writers are on the back foot currently. Pull up the position, yes. At 10,800, call writers are active, but at 10,700, put writers are taking ample amount of positions. That's if that is broken, there will be more selling that will come in. Pull up what's happened in trade today, and we can see the change that's happening in. Yes, it's call writers at 10,700 and 10,800. Put writers are forced to shed positions, and if the market slides in further, there will be more selling pressure that will be seen. Nagam, anything on the future side?
Well, naturally, Darshan, today is a day where we're going to see a lot of selling across stocks, and I'm sure that the increase in open interest will also be towards those which are looking at weakness. In fact, there is just one February F&O gainer, and that is HPCL. Of course, their open interest has increased by 2%. Perhaps if we can pull up some of the other stocks there. Okay, and that's where you're seeing unwinding coming through. And this is again on largely expected lines because we are in expiry week. So naturally, we will see a lot more, decline. But as you can see, all stocks out there also seeing, decline in their underlying. That is a spot. So there is weakness across. And once again, Darshan, we're going to keep an eye on the markets in general for now.
Yeah, we need to. But let's take a look at some of the stocks that we will address on the show. Bajaj, Finserv, in fact, most of the counters that we want to speak about have corrected. Bajaj, Finserv, Bharti Airtel, among the few nifty companies which have managed to hold on. Apollo Hospitals has corrected significantly after the big move that we saw in trade yesterday. Tata Elxsi, Hexaware and Bajaj Finance. So these are the stocks that we will discuss in trade today. Before we get a guest on the show, here's a reminder: if you have any queries regarding futures and option market, you can call us on 02245404141 or write to us on Twitter, Facebook with the AskPQ hashtag.
All right, and on that note, let's get in our experts of the day. We have Amit Shah of Bobcap Markets and Brijesh Bhatia of Dealmoney Securities joining us on the show now. Thank you both of you for joining us. Amit, I'm going to start off with you. We've certainly seen a lot of weakness in the benchmarks owing to, of course, fundamental reasons. But the real question is, does today's down move change anything substantially in terms of, the trend in the short term?
Well, clearly, if there was no event as such, what we have seen since the morning, then definitely market was poised for a pullback ahead of the expiry. If we have seen since the time, the market has witnessed some pullback from 10,600 odd to almost yesterday touching close to 10,900 odd. We have seen in last 6 days, the market breadth has improved quite a lot, and which was not seen earlier. So with support of the market breadth, yesterday, which was closing at 88 points odd on the positive side, I believe that there could be follow-up buying momentum. But however, considering the morning event which we are undergoing on the geopolitical tensions, we are seeing a heavy correction. But I would be waiting to see how it sustains above the 200-day moving average, which is close to seen at 10,740 odd, and yesterday's close off, which is close to 10,780. If I think index manages to close about 10,780, then there can be a possibility of we seeing close to 10,900, 950 odd levels as we move on towards the expiry. However, any violation below 740, that will be taken as a negative sentiment, and then the possibility of hovering close to 10,600, 10,500 can be very much seen on the higher side. As we have seen, the weeks have shorted up sharply, and call writers have become quite active. So violating below 740 on a sustained basis can bring more intensity on the selling side.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Okay, there seems to be some disturbance. But Brijesh Bhatia from Dealmoney Securities also join us. Brijesh, what's the sense that you're getting on the market? What's your strategy?
Morning, Darshan. I think we are back into the range now. So if you look at the last couple of days rally, which was around 10,818, 890, it was exactly around 61.8% of the recent fall, which we have seen from 11,100 to 10,600 sort of levels. I think we might continue in the range till expiry, and I think 10,700, 680 on the downside is a good support zone, while as if you look at the 10,900 is acting as a resistance zone. So I think this might range might continue till expiry or maybe by this weekend. And I would suggest to go short on straddle 10,800, which is currently quoting around 145, 46 levels. And I think I'm expecting back to expiry around 10,780, 10,830 sort of levels. So that's the premium has also increased due to the geopolitical tensions, and IVs are also gaining a good upside momentum. So with the 150 points fall, you can get a benefit of both delta move IVs as well. So this is, I think, 145 levels is a good short on straddle, keeping a target of 80 to 50 on the downside, and a strict stop loss of 180 due to this geopolitical tensions. Market might remain volatile for quite some time, but 180 should be the ideal stop loss. Generally, we see around 80 point of straddle during the expiry last couple of days. So this is a good short straddle for me.
Okay, well, that's Brijesh's strategy on the Nifty, where he intends to sell the 10,800 call and 10,800 put, and he says that considering there could be some more consolidation and the VIX at this point in time has surged, so you can take advantage of higher premiums on these options as well at this point in time, and well, it would serve you well if you could sell that particular straddle at the 10,800 mark. But Amit, let me come back to you on your view on the information technology index. You are constructive, if I'm not mistaken.
So comparing the indices, I believe Nifty IT is a much safer zone where index players can find a trading position, as we are witnessing a lot of volatility within Nifty, Bank Nifty odd. But if you look at the overall structure of Nifty IT, and I've been quite bullish on this space since over the last 1.5 years, it is poised for a W-shaped recovery where it had corrected from, or rather I would put it this way, it had seen some profit booking activity from 16,400 to almost on the lower side 13,800 odd. And again, it has picked up the momentum, forming a supportive action around 14,200 odd base, and has seen a higher series of higher top, higher bottom formation from there on. And if I look at the overall broader structure right now, looking at the overall components of the Nifty IT space, Infosys, HCL Tech, etc., all these stocks are witnessing a very good momentum and buying interest with rise in open interest as well as volume pickup. So I believe Nifty IT can be a very good bet at this point of time. I would play this as a short-term to a medium-term outlook, where I believe now the possibility of crossing the all-time high of 16,400, which looks very much likely in this overall structure what it has formed right now. So considering a trading bet, I would bet with a 15,850 as a stop loss level on a very short-term basis. On a positional front, I believe till the time 15,600 is not violated, Nifty IT can see a very good strong momentum from here on. On the upside, 16,400 looks possible in near term, and overall, eventually the index can head towards 16,800 to 17,000.
Amit, stock specific, which are the stocks that you have on your radar?
So I have a sell call on IDBI. Now the stock has critically broken the long time tested monthly support of 50 of close to 47 odd on a sustained basis, and it has closed below that. Even day before, a few days back, it had seen some kind of pullback action from 41 odd to 47 odd, but that also has fizzled down. So I believe there is a lot of selling pressure in this counter. Looking at the broader structure, till the time it does not cross 44, 45, I believe it can now see a series of lower top, lower bottom formation, where on the downside it can test 38, 39 levels very soon. So my upside target would be 44 for the March series, and lower it can target towards 38, 39. My next is a buy idea on UPL. Now, this has been a quite consistent buy idea which I have maintained in this show. The stock has seen a phenomenal run yesterday, was up about close to 850 odd levels. I believe looking at the broader structure, it has a very good support close to 825, 820 in the near term. And the more it holds above 835, 840 odd, possibility of further buying momentum towards 900 levels can be seen in this counter.
Okay. Brijesh, what about you? What stocks are you betting on today?
I'm betting on one long and one short. The first long would be the Bharti Airtel. So if you look at the stock, manages to hold 296, 300 levels for quite some time, and we have seen now 300 strikes being aggressively returned. Now, in fact, if you look at the OI structure, the range has shifted to now 310 as well. Though the highest still holds at 300, but addition in 310 is visible in last couple of days. So I think at 315, 316, one can look for long opportunity for the target of 332 on the upside, keeping a strict stop loss of 309, because if you look at the 310, OI has been slightly added. I think now it will hold as a strong support zone. So 309 would be the ideal stop loss for momentum based trade. Second is Tata Elxsi. So if you look at the Tata Elxsi structure, stock is unable to sustain above 900. OI structure has been seen that 900 has been acting as a resistance zone now. And back to the today's momentum, it is being back to around 880, 885 sort of levels. So I would go short on Tata Elxsi for the target of 840, though it has been slightly at the lower levels now. So one can keep a stop loss of 905. Initially, I have suggested a stop loss of 920, so which can be moved now to 905, looking at the momentum. And targets I still holding at 840 on the downside on Tata Elxsi.
Those were actually two of the stocks that we were supposed to discuss. So we'll just take Amit's view on it. Amit, what's your view on Tata Elxsi and Bharti Airtel?
Well, Tata Elxsi still it has some support around 860, 850 odd. So I believe the stock, no doubt, it has made a kind of a breakdown below a flat kind of a formation, where structurally the more it sustains below 920, the weakness can be seen in the counter. But I would wait for a violation close to 860, 850 odd for the next leg of downside to commence. On Bharti. Yes, so Bharti it has made some kind of a short-term supportive action around 303 odd, and it has maintained to hold above that level. So I feel the more it sustains above 316, 317, which is it is holding at this point of time, there can be some pullback action towards 330, 335 levels on the higher side. But there are multiple resistances on the upside, so 335 will be a critical level. If it manages to cross that, then possibility of a further pullback action towards 360, 380 levels can be seen.
Well, not too many stocks out there which are advancing in trade, and I was actually I intended to talk about Bajaj Finance along with Bajaj Finserv for that matter. But Bajaj Finserv, of course, finance, pardon me, is down in trade, and of course Bajaj Finserv will also not be unlike what we've seen. So marginal cues coming in there. But the real question is, what can we do from here, and where do we go with these stocks? So Brijesh, take your call. Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv. How would you approach either or both of these stocks? What is the likelihood of them moving in tandem, and which would you prefer?
I would prefer Bajaj Finance, but slightly at around 2570, 2580 sort of levels, which is slightly another 20-30 points from here on. And if you look at the technical structure, it has been quietly trading at higher low in the rising channel formations. So 2570, 2580 acts out to be a very strong support zone for Bajaj Finance as of now. And I think back to around 2800, 2750 could be the targets one can keep on Bajaj Finance. So accumulated slightly lower levels, keeping a stop loss of 2538 on the downside.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Bajaj Finance. The next one is Apollo Hospitals. Now, yesterday it did manage to rally, but today, because of all the market being down, it's managed to move down in trade. Amit, good time to accumulate Apollo Hospitals. What's your F&O sense indicating on this one?
See, after the breakdown from 1300 odd, the stock trading with a negative bias. So I would not jump into any kind of a position. Maybe in case of violation below 1140, it would be a good short candidate rather. But I would not buy at this juncture till the time I don't see any sustainability above 1280 to 1250 levels. Till the time it does not do that, there can be a possibility that it can see a next leg of downside if it violates 1140.
Okay, and perhaps one other stock that we can address before we go into some closing thoughts from our experts is Yes Bank. Now, this one has corrected by as much as nearly 2.8%. That is where its underlying is, around 223 odd levels. Of course, there's unwinding in the February futures. Brijesh, where do we go here from here in Yes Bank? This has been relatively volatile. How would you trade Yes Bank?
I think I would still trade with long bias even after this 150 points fall in Nifty, and I guess around 878 points on Yes Bank. Because if you look at the structure, especially if you look at derivative structure, we have since start of the series with 180 call been returned. Still those holds the highest OI as of now. But if you look at the momentum, it has been shifted to 180 to 200, and now if you look at the structure 210 to 220, both have been aggressively returned. And if you look at the bad news which was in the recent times, stock managed to hold 200 levels and back to around 214, 15 for quite some time, consolidating in those zones, giving a breakout in last couple of days and about 220. And today also, if you look at the momentum, 220 being held quite strongly. So I think one can look for aggressive longs on Yes Bank, even from the expiry point of view. I think 230 could be added for the current expiry, keeping a stop loss of 217.5 on the downside. And if I look at the March expiry, I think 244 to 248 levels on the upside could be seen in March series as well.
Okay. It's been an hour that's been passed, Amit. Anything interesting that stands out for you on your charts? Any trends or any specific sector? Any thoughts at this point in time?
So watch out for TVS Motors. Now, I was just looking at the overall open interest built up since the time of the February series. If you see the open interest side, the open interest built in since 48 lakhs at the start of the series, and now it is close to 74 lakhs odd. The stock has given a monthly breakdown which was below 475 odd and has been sustaining below that with a rise in open interest. So I believe there is a significant rise in the short position in this counter, and I believe this will run through the March series as well. So I would have recommend a short idea as well on this, where sustaining below 465, 470 odd, I believe there can be much more selling pressure as in when we move on towards the March series, possibility of heading towards 420 to 410 on the lower side.
Okay, Brijesh, what about you? Anything that stands out for you?
For me, I think one can look at Maruti long because if you look at the momentum, it has been quietly strongly holding 6800. OI structure indicates 6800 to be a good support zone. So if in case one want to look for a low risk, can go long on 6900 call, and in case one want to look for a futures bet, keeping a stop loss of 6790 the cash level, or maybe 6780 on the downside, and look for a back to around 7000. I think expiry could be around 6980, 7000 levels for the Feb series.
Okay, well, on that note, I'm going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Brijesh and Amit, for joining us and taking us through their views. For more updates on the F&O space, you can also check our website out, bloombergquint.com, especially the futures and options space. And on that note, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. But for more news and updates, stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.